Hi, and welcome to my studio space. We've moved locations for today. It's kind of a gray day, and I'm in my studio, which is a little space building tucked in the woods and full of things that keep me busy and entertain me. Maybe someday I'll turn the camera around and give you a shot of that. But because it's almost Canada Day, and I wanted to do something special for Canada Day, I thought I would revive a card I sent out in 2009. And I'll give you a better shot of, that was front of the card, and inside there was a bit of a story that I wrote and then sent to people. Some will remember it. It's very self-explanatory, so I'll just start. My inspiration for this card came from a chance encounter with a group of very vocal, flag-waving young men. It was July 1st, 2008, and the gray skies that had set a somber tone for most of my day were quickly dispelled when, at the corner of Commissioners and Wharncliffe, and quite by accident, I crossed paths with this wildly patriotic group. There's quite a steep embankment there that leads up to a small park, and earlier in the week, city crews had used colored wood chips to create a very large Canadian flag on the side of the hill. I don't know if it was the landscaping or simply the high ground that inspired these young men to stake claim to this particular corner of Canada on that day. But by the time I saw them, it was clear that they had captured not only this patch of grass, but also the hearts of all who drove by. "Honk if you love Canada," they shouted at the passing cars. The noise was deafening. In fact, I heard the commotion long before I saw the participants. As I drove up to the intersection, I was looking for those responsible for the uproar. When I stopped for the red light, I saw them. There they were, 9 young Canadians wearing a concoction of red and white, waving Canadian flags and dancing on the hillside. What a beautiful sight. 6 were shirtless, and each had a letter painted on their chest. C-A-N-A-D-A. And in all the excitement, the first A would occasionally jump out of place, and the text would then read C-A-A-N-D-A. The spelling was always quickly corrected, and the troop continued their rallying cries. The motorists loved them. It's not something you see often in Canada, a joyful and public display of patriotism. I love this country. I'm proud to be Canadian, and when I travel outside its boundaries, I'm always glad to return home. As Canadians, we should learn to shout out our pleasure and pride in a land where we have the rights and freedoms that others do not. Rights and freedoms that are not easily won. I come from a family where service to one's country was real and costly, and where this unselfish tradition continues. I drove on through the intersection when the light turned green, and when I got home, I surprised my husband by dashing into the house and then right back out. "Where are you going?" he called as I jumped back into the car. I had stopped only long enough to grab the camera. "I'll show you in a few minutes," I replied, and hurried back to the intersection. I wanted to capture this moment, and I was afraid the performing patriots might be gone by the time I returned to their crossroads. My fear was unwarranted. These young fellows weren't going anywhere. They were having too much fun. The car horns sounded for hours. I got my photograph. In fact, I took about 10 pictures that afternoon, and from them I chose one to paint. My interpretation is on the front of this card. Happy Canada Day. So this is what I sent out in 2009. And just for a little context, it was obviously before the most recent, anyway, we know, the most recent kind of attack on our sovereignty and identity, etc. And it was at a time when my son was still in serving in the military. So just put some. Well, I'm back, and the memory capability on the video camera stopped right as I finished the context. Anyway, that's it. This is my Happy Canada Day, and I will take a better shot of this. Somewhere around here on the wall is the original. I just have to find it. Anyway, not that that's important. What is important is that whole Canada Day thing, and I sometimes I wonder. So they would have been in their late teens. So they'll be almost 40 years old. People who were up there waving and the flag and being so patriotic and so proud to be Canadians. I expect they still are. Although probably won't find them all shirtless on the hill. But kind of a Canadian thing to do. Anyway, that's it. Have a great one. Cheers. Bye.